What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to do a tier list for just the EX characters. And the reason we're going to be doing just the EX characters is because I feel like the tier list is getting very, very bloated with all the BS, the SS, the regular Fest characters. And the truth is, the regular EX characters can pretty much solo about everything in the game for the most part. Most of them can pretty much solo guild raid, get a high enough score to easily get the maximum rewards out of there. All these characters can actually get through Demos base. So whenever I'm looking at the scaling of these characters, I'm just really looking at how powerful are they, how useful they are in multiple games, how good are they in multiple games, and obviously the damage output of them. Now, just keep in mind, guys, before you look at this tier list, is that, all these characters are very good. You should be happy with any of these characters because there's many of them that I still use on a regular basis, even on my free-to-play account, because they really are just that great. Just because they've gotten outshined because of new upcoming meta characters, because of characters being stronger, doesn't mean they're not very good. Doesn't mean they're not useful. Doesn't mean you can't get it done with them because just like I said a second ago, I still get it done with all these characters. And the truth is, I just love them all. So I'll bring up the tier list for you guys right now. We're going to be doing a different tier list. We're going to be using the tier maker system. I actually had to plug in all of these in order to do this. And we're going to start from the bottom now. We're going with Lackey. Now, again, we got some little colorful words like true god, demigod, and what so have you, right? But when it comes to Lackey, guys, I honestly think there's only one character that really belongs there, and that's Duo Lon. Now, I've talked about Duo Lon, and he is an insane support for your temporal mystery fighters like Genitz, Orochi, and Rugal especially. And Rugal is quite strong, right? Both versions of him are quite strong. So I really feel like, though, he's just a Lackey. His damage is just, it's lacking, right? No pun intended, but it's lacking. He just doesn't have a lot of power. He's the weakest EX character, that we've ever seen. And that's kind of why he's in the Lackey. Doesn't mean he isn't good. Doesn't mean he doesn't have any usefulness or utility. He does. He's a very, very good support, especially at A5. But the problem was a lot of us got Kusanagi. Now, for those of you that started this game because of Duo Lon, his relevance is going to be much higher. He's going to be a much more useful character for you. But this is really where I feel he stands out. And when it comes to good guys, unfortunately, we got to throw in the Street Fighter characters, right? It's going to be, Akuma, Ryu, and Chun-Li in the good category. Now, again, just like I said a second ago, this doesn't mean that they're bad characters. All three of these characters can cheeseball Reviving Hell's Dungeon. But for a lot of players, especially at this point in the game, the game's been out for, 3 years. Most of us are already above tier 60 in RHD or, at tier 70, right? Now, I realize a lot of you guys are not. And if you were playing during the Street Fighter collab and you had these characters, they are insane for that game mode, and they're insane for a lot of other things. These are the characters that people were using to get through, the Tower of Trials. These are the characters that people were using to get through Demo Space, especially yours truly. They are very, very good, especially with their immunity cores. All three of them immunity cores, all of them have shields, although Chun-Li's shield, I would say, is the best of them all. But Ryu and Akuma's shields are really insane for Reviving Hell's Dungeon. They're just really great characters. All of them have the 5.5 times explosion, but because of the new meta, because of the physical damage increase, these characters that have dot explosion, they're still great, but they have fallen down a little bit because they just don't have the damage output as these characters with physical damage. They just don't have it. But all three of them are insane. I mean, they really are great characters. Now, when it comes to great guys, I wouldn't say this is really in any particular order, but I would have to put Shermie in here. I would have to put Angel in here. I would have to put Lady Choi in here, Cronin, and then Kyo, right? All of these characters are insane, and all of them are stronger than these Street Fighter characters, and that's kind of why they're above. Also, these characters have relevant dots. Now, Ryu and Chun-Li do have relevant dots. Ryu does have Shock, right? And Chun-Li does have Chill. They both do have some relevant dots for the guild raids, right? Especially for Nightmare Geese. But whenever you're looking at a character like Shermie is godly. She has Chill and Shock in her kit. She can easily solo Nightmare Geese by herself. And Angel, the opposite is true for Omega Rugal Guild Raid, right? And all the other game modes, guys, they're just nuts. I mean, Shermie with her heals on her third skill is just crazy for all of her allies. Just an insane support on top of her core that increases damage for characters with certain types of dots. But again, the dots have just they've went down. They're not as valuable or as potent as they used to be. They're still somewhat relevant because they're still useful in game modes like Reviving Hell's Dungeon, especially. But I mean, guys, if you've already finished Reviving Hell's Dungeon, then you've pretty much finished the Immortal Dungeons. You're pretty much just looking for characters that are just stronger and just collecting them. I mean, really, at this point in the game, that's what you're doing. You're looking for characters that can actually get through the boss showdown. And the truth is, these characters, in fact, none of these characters, I would say Dualon has the best chance, but he's pretty weak. They just don't do very well against the boss showdown. Dot Explosion is not very good, especially when you max out the points in boss showdown. And it looks like we're going to get more of these boss showdowns in the future. And it looks like the physical damage increase is going to be the big meta. So that's kind of what I got to go by when it comes to this tier list. I mean, Lady Choi, again, Omega Rugal just solos easily. Cronin, godly support. By the way, Shermie's a godly support as well. But Cronin's a godly support on top of his damage, just super strong. And Kyo's damage numbers are amazing. But I do think that Cronin is stronger than Kyo, at least in my humble opinion, from what I've seen from all the other videos. But these characters here, I mean, they just have relevant dots for Guild Raid, right? I mean, I kind of got to get nitpicky about where I put these characters. I mean, this is honestly a very, very hard tier list to do because all these characters are really, really amazing. I mean, even Dualon, guys, like with his support passive and his decreased damage received, his survivability is just nuts, right? But his 3PG gets interrupted. It's a little goofy, a little wonky. Don't really care for it. And then we get into the Demigod. So when it comes to Demigod, guys, we got to put Hwoarang in there. We got to put Nina in there. And we got to put the free version of Rugal. That's right. I really believe this guy, because all three of these characters have the physical damage increase, and they all have really great survivability. Rugal being the best auto farmer of all of them. And I don't know how much relevance that's going to hold for a lot of players out there, but it is relevant. For those players out there that are trying to farm the epic quest, Rugal is going to be really great for that. He's going to be really, really great for that because he doesn't use his 3PG on auto. He has insane survivability because he constantly gets heals every time he's attacked by characters with 70% HP or above. It's just nuts, right? Nina, the decreased damage speed by 99%. Hwoarang with his damage, he also has an immunity core now. I mean, all these characters. The reason that Hwoarang's in the first spot is because I just think he's stronger than all these characters, all three of these characters. This guy can put up insane numbers. He's just crazy, especially in Guild Raid, right? And he was really great for the boss showdown as well, but Nina as well, right? Very, very strong, very, very good character. And it's funny that we got two free-to-play characters in the Demigod. That's actually pretty freaking nuts that we have two free-to-play characters in the Demigod slot. That's crazy. And then we get to True God, which I don't think really comes as any surprise to anybody out there, with Jin and Rugal. Now, I'm going to put Jin first, right? Because the thing is right now so far, from the damage numbers that I'm seeing, if we're going by damage, I just think Jin is probably a little bit better, right? His concentration will do the third and the first skill over and over and over as the attack speed increases. You can just spam the living crap out of those skills, and his second skill does have the beam that actually can reset and just kind of stun lock the opponents. Rugal does the same thing with his first skill. He can kind of stun lock them with his beam, but he only resets his third skill. Now, I don't know really which one of these characters is actually stronger than the other because they're different colors. So, you know, the players out there that are doing all these runs with these characters, I just don't know what their fame systems are set up as. I don't know if their cards are transcended or not in the runs that they're doing for these specific characters. And plus, so far, Jin, you know, we got A7 videos of Jin. And so far, at least I haven't seen any A7 Rugal videos. So I just don't know exactly who's stronger. I'm thinking maybe Jin might be actually stronger damage-wise. But survivability, I would have to give to Rugal. Rugal's just got a better heal in his core. He heals 100% of his life. 100%. Whereas Jin, he gets like a 7% heal when he gets down to the bottom. He does have a heal in his 3PG, but guess what? Rugal, his free 3PG, also has a heal. So to me, his survivability is actually better. He's also better in PvP. But when it comes to just raw damage output, Jin might be stronger. I just don't really know, guys. It's just too soon to tell, but I'm going to go ahead and put him up front just because so far from what we've seen, he just looks like he's stronger. And again, that doesn't mean that he is. I don't really know. We just got to wait a little while and let some more videos come out where we have some A7 Rugal runs on the same accounts as the Jin runs with the same fame system level up for both of them and the same exact transcended cards or transcended stats on cards. I mean, it's really, really tough in all honesty, guys, to do these kinds of comparisons with these characters. And I might do a little comparison with me as well, because I do have an A6 Jhin on my free to play, and I do have an A5 Rugal on my main. But I mean, my main has a fully developed codex, so it's a very difficult thing for me to try to balance out a fair comparison between these two characters. But this is where it stands right now. I'm going to go ahead and leave Jhin in the #1 slot. I'm going to leave Rugal in the second slot as far as True God. Both are insane, strong characters. I do think that these characters, I really, guys, when it comes to these five, I'm very confident in where I have them put. I mean, you guys might want to argue maybe if the Street Fighters want to go up here, but I just think that all these characters are better than Street Fighter. And the truth is, like even Lady Choi, guys, I mean, she actually lowers the cooldown of her ultimate move. She's insane for time attack. She's insane for, guild raid solos. I mean, it's just, they're really insane characters. And even from the initial launch of the EX characters, they're still just all amazing. They're all really great characters. So guys, let me know what you think about this tier list for the EX characters. And remember, this is just my opinion of where these characters stand. It's really, really difficult, in all honesty, to scale these characters, because the truth is, they really are all awesome, right? They all have their place in the game. For every player out there, every player's in a different position in the game. Like them Street Fighter characters might be true God for some players out there. Like I said, I still use them on my free-to-play account daily, all the freaking time, right? And the same goes for, the EX characters like Shermie and Cronin and Kyo, Lady Choi, and Angel. But guys, let me know what you think about this tier list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And let me know why you would agree or disagree with anything that I have decided on this tier list. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.